Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a problem that costs banks, well, millions and millions every single year: losing customers. But what if there was a way to stop it? We're going to look at an AI system that's completely changing the game. All right, let's kick things off with a question that you've probably asked yourself, right? You've been a loyal customer for years, everything's fine, but the second you hint at leaving, suddenly you're their most important client. So why does it take the threat of an exit for a bank to finally pay attention? Yeah, there's actually a name for that. It's called customer churn. And for the whole banking and financial services industry, this isn't just some minor annoyance. It's a huge deal. We're talking about millions in lost customer lifetime value. So for years, banks have basically been playing catch up. They're always analyzing why customers left. It's kind of like trying to drive by only looking in the rearview mirror. It's not going to work. But now a new system called RetentionAI is totally flipping the script, moving from being reactive to being proactive.
Just think about it for a second. The old way, it's a post-mortem, right? A relationship manager gets a notification that a customer has closed their account, but by then it's way too late. The new way, though, it's like a weather forecast. The AI predicts who is at risk of leaving, and this is the critical part, it actually tells you what to do about it before they even make the call.
So you can see Retention AI isn't just some magic crystal ball that predicts the future. Nope, it's way smarter than that. It's a full-on intelligence engine, and it's designed to give clear, actionable answers to four really, really critical business questions. Okay, and the real power of this whole system comes from how it answers these four questions one after the other. It takes this vague idea of churn risk and turns it into a concrete step-by-step plan. So here's how that intelligence pipeline actually works. Step 1, the AI figures out who is at risk. Simple enough. Then, step 2, it digs in to figure out why they might be thinking of leaving. After that, it gets even more detailed. What's their emotional state? Are they angry, confused? And finally, the big one. What is the single best thing we can do about it? Okay, so let's tackle that first question. Who is at risk? To figure this out, the system uses a really powerful type of machine learning model. It's called an XGBoost model. And what it does is it crunches all the customer data to calculate a super precise churn probability for every single person. But, just having a risk score, that's just a number, right? It doesn't tell you much. So to answer the why are they at risk? The system uses this amazing technology called SHaP. The best way to think about SHaP is that it forces the AI to show its work. It breaks down exactly which factors, which little details led to that high-risk score. And this is what gives managers a real, concrete insight they can actually use. So instead of just a generic high-risk alert, they see something specific like this. Hey, this customer's transaction activity dropped, and that single factor increased their churn risk by 22%. Now, that's something you can work with. All right, next up, the system gets even more personal. It digs right into the customer's mindset. To answer, what is their emotional state? It actually reads the text from their complaints or support chats, using this really sophisticated language model called Distilbert to figure out the sentiment. And what it can do is pretty incredible. The AI can tag specific emotions right from the text. Now, this is absolutely crucial. Think about it. The way you talk to a frustrated customer is going to be totally different from how you talk to someone who's just comparison shopping, right? The context is everything. So now the system has all this data, the who, the why, and the what. It's ready to tackle that final and honestly most important question: what is the next best action? And it answers this by running tests in something called a digital twin. It's basically a virtual sandbox, a perfect copy of the customer environment where it can try stuff out without any real-world risk. So in this sandbox, the AI can simulate different strategies to see which one works best. And look at these results. If you do nothing, there's an 81% chance the customer churns. But check this out. A priority call from an actual human, a relationship manager, drops that risk all the way down to just 28.7%. And that saves the most potential revenue by far. So you've got all this incredibly complex analysis happening: risk scores, simulations, sentiment analysis. How does that all get turned into a simple, effective action? Well, that's the job of something called the LangChain orchestrator. Basically, it uses a 4-step automated pipeline that acts just like a team of virtual experts. You've got a risk analyst summarizing the data, an empathy engine figuring out the emotion, an action selector confirming the best move from the simulation, and finally, a writer that drafts the perfect personalized message. And this is what comes out at the end. It's not some cold robotic alert. It's a warm, personalized, and genuinely empathetic message, all ready to be sent on WhatsApp or email. It subtly points out the issue. I noticed your account activity has changed without being creepy, and it gives a really simple, friendly way to reconnect. Okay, so let's zoom out for a second and look at the bigger picture here. What does a system like this really mean for the future of banking and for customer service in general? Well, here's the key takeaway. What Retention AI does is it transforms customer service. It stops being a reactive cost center that just puts out fires, and instead, it becomes a proactive, data-driven engine that's actively building value and creating loyalty. That's a huge shift. And we'll just leave you with this final thought. At the end of the day, this kind of technology isn't just about stopping customers from leaving. It's about building a banking experience that's so personalized, so responsive, that it gives them compelling new reasons to stay. I mean, if your bank knew what you needed before you even had to ask, would you ever leave?